do have that.
Welcome back to Riverside TV and the CIF Southern section right here in the city of Riverside. The Eagles of La Sierra introduced now as they take on the Braves of 7-1 Notar Vista. It's the CIF on Riverside TV. I'm Nick Rice, joined by John Rice out of Zach Erb Stadium on the campus of Notar Vista for a River Valley matchup featuring two teams that should make for a pretty interesting game at least.
So tonight we have Notar Vista trying to get back on track to reestablish their identity, having lost in a disappointing effort against Ramona, who did a great job, by the way. Nothing to take away from them at all, but Coach Batdorf wants to get back to their identity of tough, error-free football, being more disciplined. They were able to do that in the second half last week. So this week they're trying to get back to basics. Be disciplined, run the football, enforce their will, and sharpen up for Week 10.
The Eagles dressed up in the all-black uniforms with the white numbers. Notar Vista in the white uniforms with the red numbers and black trim. The Braves, led by head coach Ken Batdorf, came into the year talking about the offensive line and this team being as experienced and as talented as maybe he's ever had in his 31 years as head coach. And while they do have that blemish, like you mentioned, they still have put together a strong year and have all but clinched a playoff spot to this point.
You know, and one thing if you can take away silver lining and try to learn from a loss, one thing that losses do is they do expose your weakness, and it's always easier to get your weakness exposed before you get to the playoffs, so that you don't have any false sense of security. So Coach Batdorf mentioned that there were some things that they weren't doing that they wanted to do. We talked about back to basics, running the football, being disciplined, making less mental errors, being uncharacteristically undisciplined. So if they can put two halves together, turn the corner, and start heading into Week 10, they can prepare themselves for a better draw this year again, and not get a draw like they got last year in Week 4, Division 4 for Loyola. So they can get back on track, and we want to see that tonight, and that's what he wants to see, is this team get back to being what their original identity was here and what he's built up for so many years.
So you've been a head coach and an assistant across all of Southern California over the years, so you know what it's like to be on the sideline of a matchup like this, where you go from playing your potential playoff opponent in a couple weeks to La Sierra, who's 2-6 this year. What is your mentality and what's your approach going into this
So your
week?
mentality is to keep everything structured and coach them harder, is not to let up on them, to let them know that there are weaknesses that we need to work on, to have specific practice goals, to have game goals, to work hard, to coach them hard, to not let up, and to set the mindset for the game during the week, so that when the game comes, you've had your most difficult task, and that would be to get ready during practice.
And in speaking to the coaching staff, that's exactly the type of week that they had at Notar Vista High School. By many of the coaching staff, the greatest week they have ever had in practice was this last week, which is very encouraging.
So if you're wondering, if you're watching on Riverside TV, we are in the booth, which of course is Notar Vista's home stadium. And if you look down on your screen, you see La Sierra on the home side. And that's because this is classified as a home game for La Sierra. And Notar Vista is the visitor across the field in their own stadium, and that's why they're wearing white.
And it's not only a road game for La Sierra, or a home game for La Sierra, but senior night and a Halloween bash night in La Sierra as well at Zach Erb Stadium. Abraham Saldana is ready to kick off for Novi, dressed in the road whites, with Chaz Scott and Amara McCoy deep to return for the 2-6 Eagles on the heels of a 26-9 win at Jurupa Valley just 2 weeks ago. Notar Vista comes in 7-1 overall and 2-1 out of the River Valley League. And unless the Rams have a slip-up the last two games of the season, Notar Vista can do no better than second in this division.
It'll be interesting to see if La Sierra will continue to throw the ball. And they've done some really good things on offense, especially last week in their win.
Seth Bolender, one of the more productive quarterbacks in the River Valley League. He'll get a chance to warm up on the sideline now. This is reeled in by the up man of the 32 to begin the game, Emmanuel Quintero. The Eagles of La Sierra bring out a veteran of themselves. That is the quarterback at 6'3", 170 pounds, Eddie Roy, who last year against Norte Vista had a fabulous game. 18 of 34, 246 yards and 2 touchdowns with an interception. And despite the loss, Roy and the offense moved the ball pretty efficiently throughout the day.
He has a live arm, great touch on the ball, and he's got a core of receivers who can get open, have great hands, and have some speed.
Eddie Roy dressed up in the number 1. You can see as tall as anyone on the roster. Lines up out of the pistol to begin the game. Nick Rice and John Rice at a Zach Ertz Stadium in Riverside. Glad you're with us on Riverside TV. Week 9 of the campaign. 2-6 La Sierra on offense, 7-1 Norte Vista, second best scoring defense in the league. A gain of a couple for number 2 TJ Alvalana.
So they start off with a run and get only a few yards, so they're going to be second down behind the chains a little bit, 2nd and 7. And we see La Sierra playing a 2-high defense with a 4-2 box.
Norte Vista lined up in the nickel formation. And they'll bring the house on a second down. Roy finds his man on his first completion of the day, Tristan Pasalacqua, out to the 40-yard line and just short of a first down.
If you see the replay, you'll see an inside linebacker walk up at the last second, and he comes through. You see him right there on the left side of the line on defense, and he pops through there, and they get rid of the ball very quickly. And the pursuit is there such that now they're going to be short a little bit.
Isaac Costello was there on the rush. Fabian Rovalcaba, you could say, there on coverage. Number 2 for Norte Vista. Opening third down of the day, and the Eagles will bring out 4 receivers. This is Tristan Pasalacqua, just caught the last pass. Instead, it's overthrown and picked off. Right in the hands of the best defensive back in the league, and he's got 5 interceptions. This one a house call.
And we don't have any flags that we can see. Ball's a little bit overthrown. You'll get a good look on the replay. And you're just looking for a slant. They motion to trips across here from the bottom, and you watch the inside receiver run a slant right here, a little delay. Ball's thrown a little bit high. Free safety playing right at the middle. Not too hard to catch that one, and then look at those blockers lead him down the field for a score. Great way to start the game for Norte Vista.
Head coach Ken Battendorf raved about his ability to catch those jump balls, but they've had a hard time featuring him on offense in so many games this year. No problems defensively. 5 interceptions and 5 deflections this season. He's been so good in that safety position, and just like a punt returner, brings it back 50 yards for the score. Abraham Saldana to make it a 7-0 game. A good snap and hold, and this one a bit low off of the upright and is no good.
So La Sierra will get the ball again, and as you're going to see, you'll see here they're faking a blitz. They walked back, and you have a nice camera shot on the intended receiver. Ball off his fingertips.
Bit of alligator arms, though, too. Looked like he might have been able to touch it.
You know, and it's hard to get the ball over the middle. You have to be brave, and you have to hang in there, and then you see everybody going down, and I think they wanted to give a high five running down. I don't think Coach Bettendorf would have liked that too much.
Yeah, Jaden Henderson trying to get a little skin there.
But playing with joy is a great thing with intensity, so we'll see coming back out if La Sierra can reestablish themselves and get a drive going.
King Butler begins the game less than 2 minutes in with the return touchdown and an early 6-0 lead. The Braves of Norte Vista snapped their defeat to Ramona with a 42-16 road win against Rubidoux last week, one of the 2 new River Valley League teams for 2024. And after a good week of practice, they look like it with the interception.
So last time we had a little squib kick trying to keep the ball out of the hands of the deep defenders.
They've got a couple of great returners, Amaro McCoy and Chaz Scott Jr. Squib kick taken at the 49-yard line to set up great field position for the Eagles, who's Eddie Roy, their quarterback, while he Doesn't quite have the touchdown numbers. He's done a good job avoiding the turnovers this year. Unfortunately, his second pass of the day was a touchdown for Notre Vista.
I think if you ask Coach Moore of La Sierra if he would rather take a deep kickoff or get the ball at the 49-yard line all night, he'd take the ball at the 49-yard line. That's a great field position.
It shows the respect that they have in the return team for the Eagles. Eagles searching for their opening first down of the day, and they'll feature their star duo of running backs, TJ Alvalana, and this is number 20, who's wrapped up, rather 25 with the flag down,
and
John Mathis.
Could be either a face mask or a horse collar. That's what it looked like it may be. We'll get a signal right here and let you know. If you can see it on the camera, you get to see it yourself. But it was out in the open, right in front of the refs. Personal foul. Face mask. So they're going to add on to this one. And it looks like it's going to be a 15-yarder. It's going to take the ball down to the 33-yard line. First down, La Sierra.
There's a look at that play. It appeared both guys got a hand on the face mask, but the last one was the egregious one from Abraham Saldana. Opening first down by default for the host, La Sierra Eagles. Mathis hammered by Hugo Sosa, pickup of 1, maybe 2 on the ground.
La Sierra's line is pretty stout, and you do see a lot of big bodies in there on both sides of the ball. And they just could not find a crease. Okay, you have an H-back there, and you'll see on the replay, he's just trying to lead up in there like an old school lead play or ISO, and they just stymie the blocks and make a great play.
Impressive job up front. Hugo Sosa, Dave Iasefa, and Abel Chavez on the defensive line for head coach Ken Battendorf. We've got a flag thrown, a false start of the offense. So the narrative all year was Ken Battendorf's offensive line as good as they've ever had. Defensively, we've noted in so many Novi games this season, while they do have a pretty stout line against the run, they've had a hard time pressuring the quarterback this year.
You know, and sometimes you're going to need to put some pressure and put extra guys and pressure the quarterback. And if you're not able to do that, then the offensive quarterback, he gains confidence, the receivers gain confidence, and they have more time, obviously, to throw the ball. And they've had a tough time with that. So you may see some pressure, as we've seen already a few times.
Yeah, and if Notre Vista is to drop a game in the playoffs, most likely that would be their bugaboo. They can score as good as anybody. Their inability to rush the passer has been a tough problem for them this year. Roy scrambles out of bounds. And this team is without their best pass rusher tonight, Isaac Costello. They're down one of their offensive linemen, David Sanchez. They've been dealing with other injuries up front. I mean, it's the worst time to have injuries this time of the year.
Yeah, and what you'll see right here is a four-man rush, as you just talked about, and then you'll see that everybody was covered downfield. And so Roy did a good job. He got out of the pocket and was able to get a positive gain. So defensive line did their job. They couldn't quite get to him, and he was flushed out and went into the sideline to the home hash. And now we have a whistle, and a player's going to be sent out. So I don't know if that is either some blood or a face mask or something that's not equipment violation or something. So he's out, and he's going to go see a trainer about something.
Player number 7, who they do not have on the roster for La Sierra, getting cut up. Third down following the run of 8 from Eddie Roy. First down, make it the 23-yard line, and they go to the draw. TJ Alvalana, who turns the corner, is run out just across the first down, a pickup of 9, and is out by Saldana and Butler.
Great block. They did blitz an inside linebacker. They did send a 5th rusher, and it was a great call against the blitz, and they picked up the blitz here, and then they were able to bounce it outside. So good offensive call against the blitz right there. Bounces it outside, and they're continuing to move the chains.
What do you do if your head coach, Ken Battendorf, and your defensive line needs the type of assistance, especially with the injuries that they need tonight?
I think sometimes it depends on the score of the game, what your philosophy is long term. If you think you can outscore somebody, that you try to work with them and help them to get better. There's things you can do with movement to get them going as well.
It appears they've been bringing 5 or 6 on just about every play. They brought 4 this time, and with the flag down, Mathis scampers to the 11, and near a first down for La Sierra.
Back judge threw that from way behind the play, which usually indicates a hold. And you're talking about what you could do to help your defensive line. One thing is to make sure that that you have lane integrity when you pass rush. That means that you have your defensive ends not lose containment, that you keep the quarterback in the pocket in case everybody's covered, and that you're always retracing your steps. That is, if the quarterback steps up in the pocket, that you continue your rush back downfield.
Yeah, let's see where that hold was offensively. Want to back up the Avalana run. Not egregious, but certainly a hold nonetheless. On a mystery man yet again, number 70. This is one headline football game today. We've got another we'll keep tabs on, Bosco and Mater Dei. Monarchs just took the lead and scored a 2-pointer 56 seconds into the game. An 8-0 lead over the Braves. Meanwhile, these Braves of Novi lead by 6 in the middle of the first quarter. Roy looks right and dumps off a screen pass on a first and very long. Eric Mays with the catch. Spilled to the 32.
Great pursuit. The Norte Vista changed their defensive philosophy on that play. If you notice, the cornerbacks were playing off instead of press man, waiting for the ball, keeping it in front of them, and then when the ball was thrown short, you'll see a host of Braves just sprinting to the football. Look at all the white jerseys around the football. So now that puts them still in second and very long. If you're going to send pressure, this would be a time to do it.
Yeah, that's one to throw on Monday morning's film session, about 5 guys pursuing the ball. You know, as a coach, after, no one pursues the ball, I'd certainly not envy any of the players having to run those extra suicides. La Sierra's moved the ball relatively efficiently in this first quarter, but have been hampered by a flurry of flags. This is already their 5th penalty assessed. This time it appears on Norte Vista.
Looks like an unforced error and just a defender lined up in the neutral zone. You hate to see that because it's just a matter of discipline. There should be no way that any defender should be over the line and give up 5 yards on an unforced error.
Certainly feels by the penalties and the mistakes much more like a preseason game than a Week 9 battle early in this one. Mays, who just reeled in the catch, the man in motion, and Roy launches this one to Scott over the head of him in the end zone. And while that was a lot of interference, that ball was out of the end zone and uncatchable.
And Norte Vista is just choosing to rush for and dropping into a zone and keep the ball in front of them. So now, again, they get an incompletion. Fades are basically low percentage completions. So
especially when the ball's out of bounds.
Yep, and good coverage. No need to grab them. Ball's way overthrown. So now you're way behind the sticks. We'll see what the philosophy is here if they try to take another end zone shot.
Not a horrible decision considering Mays stands at 6'0", Jaden Henderson at 5'9".
And Mays made some great plays in their last game. So
Eric
here
Mays
30-14.
A fabulous season a year ago. Team high 4 touchdown catches. Also had 7 interceptions on defense. As good as any Eagles football player for this season. Before the next snap, we've got a timeout on the field. 6-0 Norte Vista lead on a 50-yard pick six in the first minute and a half of the game from the Braves' King Butler. But already that defense has been on the field the entire quarter.
Yes, and so now you have a 3rd down and 14. You certainly don't have to get it all at once. And I would assume in the position they're in that they're considering which 2 plays to run if they're short. If they're short and they get part of that, what are they going to call the second play? So You don't have to get it all. You'd be in a position to go for it twice here and try to get a first down. So it's only 14 yards. So I'm sure they're setting up 2 different plays and making sure everybody's on the same page. Might not be a bad idea to use a snap count, to change a snap count, try to draw somebody offside. The history has been, this whole series has been to either send 5 or just send 4 and drop 7 and play zone. So we'll be interested to see here. It looks like they're going to go to a trips formation at the bottom near the bench with the tight end they put in. So they have different personnel. They brought a tight end or a receiver tight to the top of the screen near Nordvista's bench.
Yeah, those 3 guys are Eric Mays, Chaz Scott, and fresh into the game, junior wideout Andres Vargas lined up to the closest of the tackle. As mentioned, much like a preseason game, plenty of sloppy play early in this one.
So what we've seen is twice that La Sierra players have had, you can't wear wristbands with national logos on them. So the first player had to take that off. They took them out, and this player just had to go remove it as well.
Right. Yeah, you don't see that every day. Number 7, unnamed on the roster into the game for the Eagles. Off the play fake, Roy gets crushed, throws to the end zone. It's a touchdown, La Sierra. Amaro McCoy in the end zone.
So La Sierra did 2 things very well that time. One is they picked up the blitz. You'll see a corner come off the top. So they picked up the blitz, and the quarterback did a great job. He knew he was going to get hit, and you'll watch a post pattern here by the receiver at the top of the screen. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful throw. He gets hit, lays it out, and a perfect ball placement. Comes down with a great catch. Good answer to the interception. And they could take the lead right here.
Well, the Braves have shown some brilliance on defense this season. They are, outside of King Butler, relatively small, and the 6'4", 185-pound Amaro McCoy found the seam of that covered 2 zone defense and catches the touchdown for La Sierra. And we were there, Coach, in their earlier game this season at Hillcrest where they were rocked 56-0. This Eagles team looks much improved from the preseason.
Their pass protection looks much better. And on defense, of course, remains to be seen. But certainly, and you're talking about 6:32 left, first quarter, and they have a chance to take the lead here.
Yeah.
They're having issues with personnel right now.
And
they're short.
Headbands and
that's a matter, there is a CIF rule that you're not supposed to be wearing
or wristbands.
Well, you can wear them, but they can't have logos. They can't have
right.
national logos to advertise.
And that extra point is good. He just snuck it inside that upright. 6:32 left in the first. Cross that off the bingo card. Whoever picked the Eagles to take the early lead. La Sierra 7, Notre Vista 6. A 27-yard Eddie Roy touchdown pass to number 10, Amaro McCoy.
So what is really favorable to La Sierra is they've been able to eat up half the first quarter.
Yeah. Braves haven't had the football on offense yet.
And they've kept them off the field. Which,
now,
if you can keep the ball away from North Vista's offense, that would be certainly a great strategy to try to get ahead of them.
That's the best strategy. King Butler, to the credit of the Braves, he does play receiver for him, and he had that 50-yard touchdown return, so he was able to break a sweat on defense.
So here we go. We'll see if La Sierra can hold up to the obvious onslaught of power football that's coming their way here.
This is the strength of the Braves, and like the words of Jeff Gorham, child abuse offense is coming if the Eagles don't attempt it onside. Number 17, junior kickoff man and wide receiver, Andres Vargas, ready to send it away for the leading Eagles up 7-6. And over end, this one drifts past the reach of number 19, Damian Blanche, and is in for a touchback. Seth Bolander, lead quarterback for the Braves, is in his second season as a full-time Notre Vista starter. 6'2", 200 pounds, is the league's leading touchdown passer with 9, 2 interceptions, has 5 more on the ground in what has been a solid season for the quarterback.
And Bolander, again, they want to give him the opportunity to throw the ball and have that perfect mix and have more ability to go farther in the playoffs. According to Coach Baddorf, they have to be able to throw the ball when they come up against some opponents that are a little bigger physically.
Averaging a touch under 10 yards or 10 attempts per game throwing the ball this year. That's Rodriguez, the motion man, and they'll go run to begin with their new lead running back. This is a freshman. A very exciting one, too, for the first down. A 15-yard burst from Lee White.
So, talking to Coach Baddorf on Monday, he said he was going to add a wrinkle, which was a tackle, a lineman that was going to go in motion, and he brought it out the first play. If you take a look at that, you'll see an offensive tackle step off the line, come in motion, and block a player on defense and kick him out. Instead, they block down and kick out and make a beautiful seam here. 2 lead blockers, just a well-designed play.
Man.
Just a beautiful little twist and wrinkle in their offense.
By the words of Coach Ken Battendorf, as good as any offensive line he's ever had, considering the wealth of returning talent to this offense. Off the triple option formation, they go to the ground with their new fullback in there, the Braves' Isaac Costello, and he's got another first down. The Braves this season are averaging 7 yards a carry, and they're moving the ball for about 13 yards a carry on this opening drive.
If you're watching at home and you watch the Braves, you'll be familiar with this. But if you're not, what they do differently is that the quarterback will also get in the blocking scheme. He turns around and tosses the ball, which gives you a numerical advantage. And that is a huge, huge deal when teams are playing 9 men up near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this team pulls guards unlike anything I've seen in a long time. And pulls centers. I mean, this looks a lot like the Eagles' offense of last year in the NFL. They had guys like Jason Kelsey pulling and moving as good as any all lineman they have. Quick slant to Butler. He's got one to beat at the 40, and he's the man who made the tackle. A great effort from number 12, Ches Scott. First down, Butler and Notre Vista.
Beautifully placed ball. They put him in if you look, he's in a wide split, wider than normal, to give a big passing lane and for him to have room to work. That's after he catches the ball, spins to the outside, and he can move. Great one-on-one tackle, and the chains are moving. And now the ball's at the 40, and they're coming up close after 3 plays. They're going to be in scoring position pretty quick here.
Boy, are they. 3 plays, less than 2 minutes in. The Braves have already moved the ball 30, make it 40 yards on this opening drive. And
so
King Butler has his 13th catch of the season.
So they just gave a sideline warning to La Sierra. Coach is not real happy. They're going back and forth. And the sideline, the line judge is telling La Sierra staff to take it easy and move
Sean
back a little
Moore.
bit. Yep.
Sean Moore, head coach in his 3rd year with La Sierra. Ken Battendorf, 31 seasons in, among the most tenured coaches in CIF Southern Section history. The dance from White, who picks up 7 on the ground. Eric Mays with the tackle.
Don't you love to see the freshman get some carries and get to prove himself? I mean, he's something special. Starting as a freshman now, stepped in for a lane, getting more carries. And one thing really quickly is that when you line up that many blockers, the defense doesn't have too many choices, so they put a lot of defenders. And what that does is leave a lot of room if a running back can break a seam. There's not too many defenders left.
Now, you just saw that replay. Lee White, for being a freshman, you wouldn't know it. He is a very patient runner. We've seen that since his first game where he started for the Braves a couple weeks ago. And he'll flank the quarterback, and as part of his speed option, White the block, Bolander the run, and he dives ahead back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard.
So the chains are short here, and I'm sure they'll go for it twice. It's about 3rd and 1. If you look here, White's supposed to lead block out front. Bolander's going to have to bounce it outside, and he just can't clear the defense on the right side.
Seth Bolander, a capable running quarterback, averaging a little under 6 yards a carry this season and 5 rushing touchdowns. Just a dream of a quarterback in a Ken Battendorf offense. Certainly he'll be dearly missed when Bolander graduates at the end of this season. In fact, his senior day is next week. Harupa Valley comes to town here at Zachary Stadium. We'll have that broadcast on Riverside TV. 3 minutes left in the first quarter. King Butler pick 6. began the scoring frenzy for the Braves, and then a 27-yard touchdown from Eddie Roy to Amaro McCoy capped off a 52-yard, 5-minute drive. La Sierra 7, Notar Vista 6.
Had a little mix-up there, Notar Vista's alignment. You have 3rd and 1. He put extra blockers in, so they have 8 men blocking at the line of scrimmage. And one of the linemen couldn't get lined up properly, and so Coach Batdorf wisely called the timeout. Wasn't too happy, better to be safe, get the first down, get everybody in the right place. And again, I'm sure he'll go for it twice if he needs to.
Notar Vista has only 1 timeout to go. That may loom large if the Braves get the ball late in the half.
Again, so real quickly, if you notice there's a lot of bodies near the line of scrimmage, everybody's within 5 yards. And if you can pop the runner through there, there's a lot of room to keep running to the end zone.
Sure is. And that runner is number 4, Isaac Costello, who's averaging 5.5 yards a carry, which is below the team's average this season. Hard to believe. Rodriguez, dressed in the number 68 today. Off the toss, a flag is down, and Costello picks up 3. For the moment, a first down.
I think what you're going to see called is whenever an offensive player goes in motion, when the ball snapped, they have to be going lateral to the line of scrimmage or backwards. They can't go forward. So that call with the hand coming out from the chest is an illegal shift. So what you're going to see here is him step off and come across, and they may have said he came and he was going forward.
Boy, that's
very touchy.
Yeah.
Very touchy call. So now you got 3rd and 6.
Sometimes those linemen, when you get them moving, it's hard for them to have that sort of patience of a receiver.
You know, and it's a new wrinkle, and I'm sure he wants to use it. And now they're 3rd and 6, and he still may be in two down territory here on 3rd and 6.
Almost certainly. Their field goal kicker, Abraham Saldana, has made just 1 field goal this season from 30. Lee White on the toss, and he did get yanked from the head. That might have been a face mask.
I called it.
On 3rd and 6, it's a pickup of 8 and a first down.
Very patient, as you said, Nick. Very patient runner.
Yep, like a Le'Veon Bell out there.
Waiting for his hold to develop. Using some lateral moves. He's grabbed by the face mask, so that the ball will be moved forward. They'll get their first down at the end of the penalty. Taking a little longer, I think, than Coach would like with the penalties. And if you watch carefully here, he'll get a handle reach in right here. And there it is. Nice camera work. Great job by our award-winning crew in the truck.
This is part of our Riverside TV doubleheader. Thank you for joining us today from Zachert Stadium in Notar Vista. Meanwhile, Murrieta Mesa, early in the second quarter of our other Riverside game, leads King by 7. The Rams over the Wolves 7-0 with 8:13 remaining in the first half. 7-6 in this one. Off the face mask penalty, they go to the ground. It was a good play fake, and that's a gain of about 8 or 9 for what appears to be number 8, Jaden Henderson.
This plays a little bit of a counter off their base run play, which is called a power toss. And they fake the toss, and then the wing here at the bottom comes back underneath. If you keep your eye on him, Jaden Henderson, and they'll give him the ball coming back following the pulling lineman. But we're down there. We went all the way from being at the 30-yard line in 2 plays down to the 7 or 8 yard line.
Yeah. And plenty of runs. 15-yarder to Butler on the lone pass of the drive, and a face mask on the Eagles have certainly helped move the ball with ease against this defense. The Braves have been stout this year, especially in the red zone offensively due to the big guys up front. White in the block, Bolander throws to the outside for Henderson, who beats his man to the end zone. Touchdown, Notar Vista.
And just a pick play. It's very hard to cover Henderson. Beautifully placed ball. And they hit the quarterback late, so I think they're going to get a roughing the passer penalty, which will probably be enforced on the kickoff. So took Notar Vista, I don't know what they run,
4 minutes.
4 minutes. So now you're down to 1:06 left, and they've had the ball once, one drive. They scored once on defense, once on offense. And that's what you love to see is them come out and execute and get back into what they normally do, which is establish themselves on the run game, a couple of well-placed passes. and watch this inside receiver here and watch him run a pick route. Well, it's not a pick, it's a rub. He'll run an out route and just kind of, the ball's placed perfectly.
Perfect, in stride.
Beautiful.
Eric Mays, number 0, is on the coverage. It's the 10th touchdown pass of the season from Seth Bolander. Henderson with his league-best 5th touchdown catch in the red area. He's been very crafty. They've brought in a new quarterback. Armando Morales, number 10, is under center on a 2-point try to lift the Braves in front with a make by 7.
Wouldn't that be something if they tried a trick play right here?
Didn't appear they would do that.
Now there's something wrong in the crew's eyes about this set where they step back the tackle and you can't move 2 people at once. So I'm thinking when they shift down that receiver to be a tight end and they step back the tackle, that you can't have 2 people moving at once.
Yeah, Ken Battendorf is not really talking to the officials, so maybe half of that is on his guys too.
Yeah.
They will keep the offense out there. 2-point attempt at the 7.5-yard line. A toss to Rodriguez, who throws in the end zone, and it's intercepted. A chance to score 2 on defense, but Mays is out of bounds.
Wow, I just had a feeling that there might be some tomfoolery tried.
Right.
So I think I know what the penalty has been twice, and it is once there's a shift and 2 people shift, you cannot motion until there's a count of 1,001. So he waited 1,001, and then he motioned. So then you get the tackle throwing the ball. What a great design play. Haven't seen that one before. Oh, big guy. Put some arm behind it.
Oh, man.
Okay.
A couple inches, and that's a 2-pointer to Abraham Saldana.
Mays doing it on both sides. Nick Mays doing it on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, 6 foot, 170-pound senior Eric Mays. And the interception keeps it a 5-point game. A quick update out of the nation's most hotly anticipated matchup tonight, St. John Bosco and Mater Dei. The Monarchs have played keep away. They've scored on their first 2 drives, a touchdown, 2-pointer, and a field goal, and lead St. John Bosco 11-0. That game in the late stages of the first quarter. As mentioned early in the second, Mesa at King High School leads the Wolves 7-0 in our other Riverside TV game. We'll give you scores around the CIF and standings of the River Valley in just a moment. But right now it is Norte Vista 12 and La Sierra 7. Nick Rice, John Rice at Zachert Stadium in Riverside, California. In fact, we'll give you one update right now. Rancho Christian leads Hillcrest in a shocking development, 12-0 over the Trojans. There's number 0, Eric Mays, who's had a fabulous day for the Eagles.
And you can see why they want to kick to him.
That's right. Squib kick, muffed at the 22 and scooped up by number 8, Emmanuel Quintero.
Nicely placed ball with a little juice on it, hard to handle. No choice but to fall on the ball, and there's a big difference between having the ball at your own 20 versus your own 49. So they were able to drive, take the ball and drive down and eat up 6-7 minutes last time they had the ball. So La Sierra with the ball for the second time, down 12-7.
The offense just went 52 yards in about 4 minutes. Cap it off with an Eddie Roy touchdown to Amara McCoy in the last drive. One more score update, and John Rice is going to love this. Yankees 2, Dodgers 1, and our silly baseball updates during the football game.
My daughter's there. She got tickets at the last minute. She called me all excited. Dad.
Did she mention the price or not really?
I'll get to that after
John
the play.
Mathis dances to the 28. Number 5, Julius Howes with the tackle.
Nice run. Matter of fact, my girlfriend, I'm sorry, my daughter's boyfriend, he just got a scholarship pitch at Loyola Marymount. He's on the staff there. He transferred in, so his mother got some tickets, and they couldn't use them so she's a coach's daughter, so she calls me at school today all excited. Dad, I get to go to the World Series. And I said, honey, if it was me, I would have sold the tickets. She's like, no way, Dad. I'm going to the World Series.
You know, there's just some of those where it doesn't matter what the price is. It's the moment that means so much. Until you see the bill, then maybe it matters a little bit.
And I just teased her because she knows I don't like the Dodgers, but she's a true baseball fan, and she knows that's the pinnacle of being a baseball fan. And
Yeah,
going
especially Dodgers Yankees. I mean, that's
Yep,
a series that you get once every 5-10 years.
Oh yeah, I remember in high school when they were playing. When I was in high school, back when Reggie Jackson was playing, and they played a couple series there, and that was huge. That was when America was just. Everybody's watching baseball. Football wasn't too important when they're playing the World Series in October. Wow. That's for sure.
Well, credit to baseball for changing the rules. I mean, this was something that I had an issue with for decades, as the first quarter will expire here, 12-7 Notre Vista, was the pitch clock. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, games will last 3.5 hours with guys kicking dirt, moving around. So great to see them adjust the game. It's faster. It's more entertaining. And while the runs aren't any more higher than before, the product has been better.
And when you're a batter, you're trying everything you can do to get the pitcher, especially guys that like to work fast. You're trying to get them off their game. You're trying to stall them. You're trying to frustrate them. Step out of the box, step out, pull your shirt, tuck something in, wipe off a fly. You're doing anything you can, and so that's eliminated. And it looks like it's been a positive change. And it's good for people watching the game, and it hasn't hurt their attendance. I mean, it's a change, and we rolled with the times.
I wonder what the football equivalent of that is. Maybe
time clock in between plays. They were lower. They give you 20 seconds in between plays. Wouldn't matter for Centennial and teams that go at tempo. Wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
They're going anyway. But you would reduce the time clock.
Yeah, that would be my counter to run tempo. Every now and then you'll see a guy fake an injury. That's a whole other thing. To play mind games with an opponent.
And they had to make a rule a few years back in high school that if you had an injury in the last 2 minutes, they did it in the pros first. They stopped that by charging teams timeouts if they had somebody fall down in the last 2 minutes, and if you didn't have a timeout, it was a penalty. So they took care of that.
Yeah, you don't see that much anymore. That was a great change. You've seen some teams run out the clock and end the game because a team wanted to fake an injury in the final 10 seconds.
Another timeout.
Is that on Notre Vista? That'd be their last.
I think it was La Sierra. That head man,
Sean Moore.
Yeah, and the referee called it to them, so they saw something they didn't like. And we've had a lot of timeouts and some communication issues on both sides of the ball.
Gives us an opportunity to mention that according to Ghazal Hassan, who's working the other Riverside game tonight against King and Murrieta Mesa, he comes out with these weekly divisional rankings about what teams should be in if the playoffs started today. He has predicted 95% accuracy of teams to make it, 91% accuracy of divisions to make it as of last year. Follow Ghazal Hassan on Twitter, Ghizal Hassan. Currently, he predicts 5 Riverside teams to make it to the playoffs. Now, one of them, John, Pauley High School, you had mentioned, shouldn't be in there right now.
They were until they lost last night. They had that was a fantastic game last night.
Fair enough. This was updated on Wednesday.
They had a fantastic chance. It was a great ball game, and they fell a little bit short.
Now, one of the teams that Ghazal predicted would be in Division 9 Division 7 last year was Notre Vista's. Roy completes this pass to Eric Mays to the 30-yard line. Butler with the tackle. Notre Vista predicted by Ghazal to finish number 9 this year if the playoffs started today. So they'd play teams like Monrovia, Rancho Christian, Serrano, Lancaster, Rancho Mirage. What are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are that Ghazal does an absolutely fantastic job of ranking these teams, and if you sign up for his email, you get the weekly rankings, and it gives you a good idea of where the teams are. One thing you cannot predict is what CIF does, the panel when they go into the room, and then they switch a couple things. So you can't always be sure as to what happened in Norte Vista. And Norte Vista goes to Division 4 last year from 9. So you can't tell, but Ghazal, fantastic job. Just a great job and a great service to everybody.
Off the play fake, Roy finds Scott, who stumbles. It was the turf monster who got him, or maybe, an invisible ghost on Halloween week.
And what we're hoping for is some home games for the Riverside schools so we can bring in some more football.
That's right.
And we always want to advocate for Riverside schools. We just the coaching staffs, and we're a little bit partial to Riverside, but there's great coaching here. There's great football, and we want to
absolutely.
Hopefully, we get some home games when they get those They do those coin flips when you get matched up, and hopefully we'll get some coin flips so we can have a few home games first round.
Yeah, that hasn't been a problem for rounds 1 and 2 for the last half a decade. There's really only been about 1 or 2 years and quite a while where there wasn't multiple games for us to give you for a couple weeks of the postseason. Of course, last year we gave you Gazal and Jeff all through the playoffs, a run to the title, unlike we've seen any year in a long time in the city of Riverside for all city title game for the championship with Ramona.
So that kick was a short punt and bounced. It took a bounce for Norte Vista up about 10 yards.
Yeah.
And it made the decision not to catch the ball look good. And I don't know what happened, but they decided not to catch the punt. He ran up, and then they're still going to get the ball in good field position here. La Sierra can't get anything going in their second possession. Norte Vista is in their second possession here, up 12-7 with 10 minutes left in the half.
Speaking of not getting anything going, Arlington's on the outside looking into the playoffs already, and they have been blanked at home by Hemet tonight, 21-0, that game in the middle of the second quarter. Citrus Hill over Heritage by 6. Rancho Christian still leads Hillcrest 12-0. Hillcrest, if the playoffs started today, according to Gazal, would be in, but not by much. Lee White dances to the 40 of La Sierra, a pickup of 7 on the play.
Nick, he looks like he's going to be a special back. He just has some, you can tell by his patience, he has some vision. He's trying to set up blockers. He is very quick. If you watch his response time here, he's able to stop and use his lateral movement very slightly.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay. Avoid a couple tackles, and there he goes again.
White with a 3-yard scamper on second down right at the marker, and in fact, they'll give it to him, a first down for White.
And what a player to develop going into the playoffs when you have more than one offensive weapon. Of course, you want to have your guns loaded, as many bullets as you can get going in, metaphorically speaking. When you go into the playoffs, you want to be able to count on different players and different positions, because teams are always good. They're going to be able to shut down one weapon if that's all you got.
The Braves came into the season with the third brother of the Elaine family, Holly Elaine, Eddie Elaine, and his junior season, Dreddy Elaine, was slotted to be the number 1 runner throughout the season for this offense. White has taken control. Butler with a beautiful pass, and we have interference on the defense. Chaz Scott at the 5.
What impressed me about that play is Bolander is he has some quick feet. He was able to get to the perimeter of the defense very quickly.
Now, my only issue with that pass, I don't know if you agree, Coach, is that you'd love to see him put a little more air under that ball.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. He had a little bit of touch here. He would have been able to complete that.
But not just the touch. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but, they've been speaking of that. I watched Sunday Night Football, their breakdown of the difference between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. It wasn't the accuracy, it's the time the ball's in the air. Having an extra second for a receiver means a lot to be able to adjust to it.
Agree 100%. And now the ball's at the 20-yard line.
Costello plunges to the 17, a 3-yard run inside for Norte Vista.
Vintage Coach Baddorf. Go back to the run, pound, be patient, and something will break.
They've run about 90% of the time in this first half today, has Norte Vista, with Lee White and number 4 Isaac Costello being the lead ball carriers. A couple of Jaden Henderson runs as well for this offense.
And they're running personnel on and off, so they're using a few different packages. They ran off 3 linemen. And they go to a 3-receiver set.
Abraham Saldana, Jaden Henderson, and King Butler, the wideouts for this offense, on second down and 5 yards to go. Seth Bolander to the outside, and the quarterback has given Notre Vista a 2-touchdown lead. That was almost a curtain call for the quarterback.
Just love his quick feet and the way he's able to get to the outside and outrun the defense. Nice play to get the defenders out of the box. As you'll see here, he just gets to the outside. He's got the running back there, and he cuts underneath the block on a beautiful block by one of the linemen and just outruns the defense. So that's 2 for 2.
Yeah, Seth Bolander, a touchdown pass to Jaden Henderson, a touchdown run from long distance. And Novi jumps in front by double digits. What a turn of events that was as La Sierra's offense stalled, allowing a short field for this Braves offense. Abraham Saldana, good on the PAT. He's 28 of 29 on point afters this season. Not quite what the last one was, the Ryan Rodriguez pass to the end zone. That one a little more conventional.
Oh, come on now. I want to see that again. They've got to give that big guy another chance because they'll be teasing him. When they get together for their reunion 25 years from now, they'll be teasing him about missing that pass. So you got to give the big guy another chance to throw that extra point, that 2-point conversion try. So
we're not going to wait 25 years on Riverside TV. We'll tease him now.
No, yeah, and they'll be after him. They'll tease him a little bit. But I'll tell you, when you put something on film, if you're a good coordinator, when you get to the playoffs and you choose games, anything that's put on film, if you're a good defensive coordinator, then you're going to try to prepare for it. Mm-hmm. The choice is most teams will choose 3, 4, or 5 games to look at. They won't look at 10 games, so there's things that you can sneak in that they won't get to look at.
And this might be the game they don't look at.
Oh, and I can guarantee you that most teams will not take games that are blowouts. They won't even look at them. So you might be able to sneak something in and run it again.
And, Cam Batendorf might even want to think about maybe running the receiver to the left side just to throw off a defense that prepares for a two-pointer.
If there's a way to do it, he'll have it ready. You got to have everything ready.
31 years in as head coach of this program. Those onside kicks have come close to being recovered by the Braves. Not that time. Number 11, Mystery Man with the recovery.
Almost the identical place. They had their first possession. The last one went through the defense, the front line, went back near the 22, and now this one is back to the 47, 48-yard line. Right. So they have a shorter field this time in their third possession of the half.
Got to be honest, Coach. I thought between the games that we were going to talk about today, Notre Vista and La Sierra, St. John Bosco and Mater Dei, I didn't think this would be the more competitive game.
Yeah.
Mater Dei is crushing them, 17-0.
Now that I had the chance to coach in 3 of those games, 2 of them in 1 year, and it's very tough to beat somebody twice.
Oh, it almost never happens with those opponents.
I'll talk to you about it in a second here. We watch the first play.
Roy putting some air under that one, a better pass, and that's a touchdown to Mays.
So in 2016, we lost a very close game to Mater Dei in the regular season, and then we met them again in the CIF championship in Angel Stadium, and we beat them. And then it's been back and forth. So it's very, very hard for one of those teams to win both games. You have to play each other twice to win the CIF title and go play in the state championship.
Back then, I believe DJ Uyangalale was your quarterback.
Yes. Yeah, Real Mitchell was the quarterback part of the year, and then DJ won the job.
You guys have had some incredible quarterbacks over the years. Josh Rosen, another one, a first high-round draft pick back around that time, 2016, 2017.
And I wonder what that was there a flag? Did I miss that down there? I'm wondering what's going on down there. They tried to catch him on the sideline.
False start.
Okay. So that won't count.
Well, that Mater Dei game might be over before the half. I believe they got an interception of their quarterback. As mentioned, number 1 against number 2 in America in that other game too. Eddie Roy, I mean, he's really got a good arm, a good feel for the game. Unfortunately, he just missed the last touchdown potential pass.
And the first play we saw on the post play, he was wide open. That could have been a touchdown very easily and put them back within 1 score. So now you got 3rd and 10, ball still at the 47-yard line.
Four-man rush. Roy off his back foot. Receiver and defensive back tumbled and fell at the 25.
You know, and that call can go either way. That can be intermittent contact, and you see at different levels. Sometimes that's called, sometimes it's not. Their legs get tangled up, so they're going to end up getting a first down. When it was 3rd and 10 in the second play in a row, they called the same play, and the receiver was 2 yards beyond the defender. So I think they're trying to decide whether they're going to call this or not. When they have a discussion like that, sometimes they're thinking about whether they're going to pull the ball or not. We'll see. We'll see if they're going to pull the flag.
Wow.
Yeah, they waved it off.
King Butler was the defensive back. Eric Mays was the wide receiver. Let's check out that play again. Top of your screen.
Did a good job with the motion, clearing out that side. I don't know if we'll catch this or not, but at the last minute, their legs get tied up.
Ah. Dang it.
So now you're going to go 4th down.
Oh, I'm sorry, not King Butler. That was 23 Bo Salazar on the coverage. Let's check it out one more time, guys. Good job by our crew.
I'll see her not
Top
too
of your
happy right
screen.
now.
Look here.
I don't know. That could have went either way.
I think the officials made a great call there.
Yeah.
It's tough, but incidental contact. And the other thing is, Roy, maybe a little too anxious. That was another ball that appeared uncatchable.
So now you got 4th down, and they're not in pump formation. If the sticks are right and the indicator is correct, they're taking a risk right here. If that indeed is 4th down.
4th and 10. They've got a guy who can sling it, play fake, and he throws one on a skinny post, and Mays had it knocked away. Good coverage by the much smaller Jaden Henderson. Fabulous job defensively to force the turnover on downs.
Really surprised this early in the game that they took a shot there in the middle of the field on 4th down. They tried to go to the same receiver 3 times in a row. 3 plays in a row they tried to complete this pass, and especially on 4th down. So now you're giving up a short field on an offense that has physically overmatched you, who's up 2 scores and can make it 3 here with 7:35 left in the half.
Yeah, that's one of those, you know you're playing a more talented team, so you may need to gamble like that. And those gambles haven't worked so far today. La Sierra jumped in front 7-6 in the middle of the first quarter. Bolander throws it past Butler for the incompletion. And the Braves have done a good job, whether it be the run game or whether it be some timely throws from Bolander. They've scored on 3 drives in a row.
Little miscommunication there. Bolander rolled out, and Butler did not seem like he knew that the ball was coming to him, and he starts running about half speed. And you get the look from the quarterback that burns a hole in the receiver's face. I mean, he stops running, and there's a miscommunication and a wasted down. So now you got 2nd and 10. You're still in 10 personnel, which means 1 back, 3 receivers, not the traditional run-heavy set.
Bolander on a speed option, gets a block from his running back, cuts it back and gains a couple. Wrapped up by Mathis and a host of Eagles defenders.
You know, we've seen him run for a touchdown already. He's a big physical quarterback, can get the tough yards. So now you'll have 3rd and 5, a little more manageable. Clock running with 7 minutes, close to 7 minutes left in the half.
Now, one thing I'm noticing, Coach, is that they are testing the deep ball of Bolander more than they usually are. In fact, they're going to go deep again. Bolander airs it out, and that pass is incomplete. Henderson had it inside the 15.
Good instinct. Good instinct. Nick, they took off and sent 3 men, 2 men wide, and 1 right down the middle of the field, and that was very close.
Well, this is the game to try out those deep balls. And they just can't. They're just not on the same page tonight on the deep passes.
You know, and again, you have to work on this stuff, and you have to be able to throw the ball when you get into the playoffs, when the teams are they're bigger and they're more physical. So I think you'll see them go back to that still. Mm-hmm. If the score doesn't get out of hand in the 3rd quarter.
Seth Bolander averaging about 10 passes per game this season, 79 attempts on the year, already up to that number today. He guns it. There's Butler. He's got nothing but green grass in front of him. Touchdown, Notre Vista.
Impressive. Butler is an impressive physical specimen. He is big and physical, and you'll see a rollout. He runs a deep curl. He catches the ball, tucks it in, and spins, and then he's off to the races. And he does have a downfield blocker, so that's an impressive play with Bolander with some quick feet getting to the edge of the defense and just throwing a bullet right to Butler.
In the River Valley League, the number one touchdown scorer at wide receiver is Jaden Henderson. You saw him find the end zone earlier. Number 2 is this guy, their star two-way player, King Butler. I guess not grass in front of him. There's a whole lot of green turf.
Wow.
38 yards to the end zone.
So just like that, on a 4th down, they score. 6:37 left. 25-7.
Not a bad idea to test the arm of Seth Bolander. He throws his 2nd touchdown of the day and his 11th of the year. Make it an 8-point drive. The 2-pointer is good. By the way, a quick World Series update. We've got a Dodgers pitching change with 2 outs, top of the 9th. Yankees and Dodgers are tied at 2.
Tight ball game. I wonder where my daughter's sitting. I wonder if she's way up high in the nosebleeds. I'm sure it doesn't matter.
I was going to say, I don't think you're getting any updates. From her about the game. I think.
She's excited. I'm sure. I mean, I've been, when I was in college, we went to Dodger Stadium. Being from San Diego, we were excited to go see the Dodgers play. So some college buddies and I went out to a few Dodger games, and it was a great place to watch a ball game. Great atmosphere.
Nothing
highly
quite like
charged,
it.
highly charged.
Mm-hmm.
There's respect, even if you don't like somebody. I mean, growing up a Padre fan, you didn't like the Dodgers. So back then, every chance we had to go to see the Dodgers play in San Diego or the Giants, and then here you get to go in L.A. and see teams come in. So I'm sure that's a really exciting place to be and time for L.A. Dodger fans.
Yeah, nothing quite like going to Dodger Stadium and, the monkey was finally off their back beating the Padres too. And I think that there's no coincidence there. That was their bugaboo that they've struggled to beat over the years. Saldana with a towering kickoff, but returnable at about the 14-yard line. Finally, a first deep kick, and you can see why they hadn't done that today. Russell down to the 36 on the John Mathis return.
Well, first time they decided to kick it deep, and like you said, you can see why they don't do it. That ball was returned and almost broke that on a crease, and you had maybe a touchdown saving play there about the 39-yard line.
Right.
And they'll have is this their 3rd or 4th possession?
Fourth.
Their 4th possession, and you still have, six and a half minutes left? 6.5 minutes left in the half. They need to put something together here. And last time they went forward on 4th and gave La Sierra a short field, and they capitalized on it.
If I'm not mistaken, they have gone touchdown, punt, turnover on downs, and then here they are. It's amazing when you play the Braves. If you don't score on every drive, stuff like this happens. Notre Vista this season is scoring 31.5 points per game. Mathis buried by Henderson, a loss of 3 yards on the run.
Outstanding pursuit, outstanding block destruction. I mean, just a fancy way to say they defeated blocks. They got through the line. They were unable to build an edge by the receivers there. And that ball carrier was lucky he only lost 4 yards, 3 yards. Mm-hmm. Host of Braves, highly motivated.
It should be noted Notre Vista will be kicking off to begin. We'll be receiving to begin the second half. As they lead at 27-7, Nick Rice and John Rice, glad you're with us. The 2-6 Eagles trying to make this a game again against the 7-1 Notre Vista Braves. This run strung out to the line, gain of a couple on that John Mathis carry.
What a tackle on the perimeter, and you have a Notre Vista player down,
shoot.
And we're hoping that's not
Is
anything
that Jaden
serious.
Henderson? Yep, it sure is.
Just an outstanding one-on-one tackle on the edge. If you watch, there Jaden's up at the top, and he'll come back down when he recognizes his run, and he makes a one-on-one tackle here. Look at this tackle. Just a beautiful, beautiful tackle. So
another offensive pre-snap penalty, it appears.
That is a unsportsmanlike conduct from somebody on the sideline. So now you have La Sierra's sideline getting after the refs, and they're not going to tolerate it. So that is a mistake by the coaching staff that hurts your kids. And really, they've been going back and forth all night
15-yard penalty.
All night long. They've been going back and forth, John at the refs.
Sean Moore, that's the coach for them.
You hate to see that. There certainly is some strategy when you're talking to the refs during a game.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the point, most refs will warn you, look, be quiet, enough's enough. And that time you hurt your team and you put them back already at the 21-yard line. And now they're in a really tough position, 3rd and 25.
We've done about a half dozen Riverside TV games this year, and that is the first time as this Eddie Roy is sacked. 5th sack from that defense this year, first of the season from Angel Tirade, or Tirade, I should say. But we've done about a half dozen games. That's the first time I've seen a sideline penalty. And last game we had, or 2 games ago, Novi, I believe, or was it Hillcrest, we had a fight at the end of the game, no flag there. There must have been something that happened on that sideline.
You know, and usually emotions are high, and you can talk to the refs as long as you're respectful. But most of the time, and in my experience, is they will say, okay, enough's enough. I've heard you. I heard what you had to say. Stop it. And then you stop. But then if you keep on doing it, and you hurt your team and you get a 15-yard penalty.
Well, first they got a sideline warning.
Yeah,
so
they've
warned them a few times.
Yep. And then what happens, they get a sack and they move back, and now they're going to have a very short field.
This is Andres Vargas with a good kick considering the circumstance. What a kick. We've got a flag down 2 picked up by Damian Blanche.
Great coverage also by La Sierra. You get a great punt.
47 yards. That's a college punt right there.
Fantastic. And you also had great coverage. You had La Sierra's punt team hustling down and putting them back to the 39-yard line, 40-yard line. So if you watch everybody hustle down there in the middle of the screen, watch the bounce you get here.
So that went 47 yards downfield on the bounce.
Wow.
Total net with the return of 45. That's a Division I punt right there.
He just boomed it. So now you have another possession here at the 40-yard line, and they're back in their run-heavy set.
3:21 to work with in the Braves, also with 1 timeout in their back pocket. They'll begin on the ground. A good idea. This is the freshman across the 45-yard line, and it takes about 4 different defenders to bring him down. 12 yards from White, first down.
So their base play, power pitch, they have been getting into it from slightly different formations, but definitely more power personnel. Last series, they were going 3 wideouts. They're back into their home formations.
Another toss to Lee White, who finds a seam at the 40 and was 1 defender away from a touchdown. No flag down on the Emmanuel Quintero tackle that is near another first down.
Vintage Norte Vista football. So as you see a lineman shift up to the line, and then they count. They have a 1001 count, and then the back goes in motion. So when he moves up, he'll move up quickly. Then you have to wait 1 count, and then he can go in motion. So that was the problem they got worked out earlier, where they had a few penalties.
Yeah, they're going about a half a second versus a whole second. That was actually Eric Mays, not Emmanuel Quintero. Great tackle to save a touchdown on the Lee White run. They gave him the first. They'll go end around here from the toss of White. This is Jaden Henderson to the 30. 1 to be to the 15. Did he step out of bounds at the 15? There's a flag down at the 20 as well. A lot to sort out here on a great run from Henderson.
You know, when you look at the replay, you'll see that the La Sierra had 2 defenders on their perimeter, and it looked like they were not going to be able to get the edge. But Jaden did a really good job with his speed getting down past the bottom of the numbers to the sideline, but that's going to be for naught. You see the refs discussing very vehemently the action of throwing somebody down. He was pretty demonstrative there and told us what the penalty would be.
Quick game update out of the World Series. Yankees had runners on first and second. Aaron Judge was about ready to hit, and they somehow punched him out. So we head to the bottom of the ninth. Dodgers need 1 run to win.
So we got offsetting penalties.
Wow. So there was a hold on the Braves.
And then they called a personal foul, I think, at the end of the
there's the
play.
whole top of your screen. Grabbing Caleb Quarto, number 77.
They might have called this right here. I think they called that. So now
which
they're
is
going to move
amazing because he was already out of bounds.
So they move the ball to the right hash, and you're back to 1st and 10 with 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Well called play last time.
And the clock is running, which should be noted. Play fake to White. Bollander's got a guy wide open, Jaden Henderson, and he missed him. That's a play that he's going to have to look at a film session on Monday. That's a touchdown that he missed.
And second time, we talked about putting some air into the ball, keeping it in the air with a little bit of touch on it. Putting
There's
an
only
arc on the ball.
one way that you don't score there, and it's throwing it too hard.
Yeah. And that's experience, and you have to take advantage. And when you play in the playoffs, and there's a team, and that could be the difference between a win and a loss. Fortunately, they have a lead here, but that kind of play, which is called at a perfect time, goes just as an incompletion, and should have been 6. So we'll see what happens with 1:44 left. They've tried 2 out of the ordinary plays, a reverse and a deep play action pass, and now we're going to have another timeout, see if we can get straightened out here.
Last from the Braves.
I'm sure he wants to score here and go up 4 scores.
I mean, we can certainly bang the throw, and it was one he'd love to have back. But the play fake was outstanding, and that's half the battle right there.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you set up the run. You create the defense that has to stop the run, and then when they get out of position, usually you have coaches watching certain players on defense, and when they give away that they're overplaying the run, just a matter of calling it at the right time. So the coaching staff, hats off to them for calling those 2 plays at the perfect time. The reverse was well called, well timed, and so was that last pass play. Now can you score with 1:44 and no timeouts left?
Right. And it's a big one, as I believe it would create a running clock situation if they score the touchdown here to close the half.
So a lot of the time they'll come over and ask. They'll ask the coaches, would they like to do the run? Would they like the running clock? Yes or no?
And I got to say, this has not been as convincing a performance, so I'd say Sean Moore might be compelled to just not go running clock.
You know, and Coach Batdorf, if they can ask if they want early in the quarter, but you want, like you said, Coach Batdorf wants to start executing and make sure they minimize their mistakes and get some players in the game.
White the call, and he had no chance on that play. Credit his effort in order to try and shake free the defense. Rudy Ojeda was there to bring him down.
Beautiful play by Ojeda. Beautiful play. He read that play. He stayed. It's supposed to be a reverse. Underneath handoff. They faked the power pitch one way, and then they were going to hand it back coming underneath, and that play broke the first time. To keep an eye here at the running back at the bottom of the screen, he'll come back underneath.
Rudy Ojeda was unblocked.
Yep.
Part of the reason why he was so quick.
Yep. And so now you're at the 40-yard line. You have 1:02. The clock is running, and now they go to a three wide receiver set that they've thrown at him or run the ball with Bollander.
Bollander flushed out to his left, finds a seam of the 40. He's got some wheels. The 20, cuts it back to the 15. A gain of 29 with a flag down in the area of holding.
And that's unfortunate because they had the ball down to the 10 and they could have gotten up on the ball. They have no timeouts left, and they just have shot themselves in the foot. You have another hold, and they've lost a little bit of composure here with some penalties. And you'll see a great run here. Bolander is a very athletic quarterback. Look at him get to the edge. He's been able to do that all night. Decides to pull the ball. And look at him run and make a great cut right here. Just a very athletic quarterback.
Absolutely. 5.7 yards a run this season, and now 6 rushing touchdowns after one he scored in the first half. Seth Bolander, the Braves quarterback. We're headed to the 10th, by the way, of the World Series.
And now
Dodgers and Yankees tied at 2.
They just chopped the clock, so they don't have any timeouts left at all. And you're down to 35 seconds. It's been about 10 seconds since they broke the huddle.
The snap is at 29.5 seconds to go. Bolander flushed out again, looks, launches it deep, a bit underthrown, but Butler adjusts and makes the catch for a touchdown.
Wow.
What a throw, and an even better job from Butler to get past everybody.
Tell you what was impressive was La Sierra knew that was coming. They had 2 defenders in good position until the very end of the play where Butler just ran past them. And Butler passed them, was open, and he had to wait for the ball. Bolander had to step up and stop his roll. If you look here, he rolls out. He gets to the edge. Good job by the running back. And he has to pull up, and he's a little bit, right here he pulled up, and then he was a little bit short.
Credit to Bolander for learning from the last throw. That's what we've been asking. Get air under it. It doesn't matter if you underthrow him. What matters is if you overthrow him. 2 touchdown catches from Butler tonight and 5 this season.
Wow, and then now you have a 4-score lead. Now you're up, 26, going to be 27 here. So that's a big difference. And they get the ball coming out the second half, correct? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Norte Vista gets the ball.
Yes,
so they're going to have another chance to up their lead.
Saldana 2 for 2 today and 29 of 30 this season. Let's get some score updates too before we go, if you don't mind, near the end of the first half. It's 34-7, Novi over La Sierra. Rancho Christian leads Hillcrest 20-7. Citrus Hill down 12-6 to Heritage right now. In our other Riverside TV game, Murrieta Mesa wire to wire has led the King Wolves. Our score 14-6 near the end of the first half. And Arlington is getting crushed at home against Hemet, 31-7. Oh, we also have Patriot in front of Jurupa Valley, 35-0. Patriot, a team we haven't covered all year. Hopefully we cover them next week. They have this running back, Josiah Felix, 18 rushing touchdowns. He's been just phenomenal this year. Best running back in the River Valley League.
Love to see him play. And, again, if they're in a position to make the playoffs, what's so great about the playoffs is the level of football shows up when you get these different areas playing each other. The Riverside Valley, you get San Bernardino Valley teams, you get Orange County teams, you get LA teams, and people, intersectional matchups happen to create a lot of interest. And usually Riverside teams have done very well.
Josiah Felix, it should be noted, his rushing touchdown total of 18, 19 total touchdowns, both rank in the top 20 in America of all running backs. Outstanding.
So you'll have
top 20 in California.
That's
My apologies.
Impressive.
Top 20 in California.
Impressive.
And number 1 by a mile in the River Valley League. Josiah Felix. Shout out to him out of Patriot and Jurupa Valley. Hopefully we get to see him either next week or in the playoffs.
So you get probably 1 snap here. I can't imagine they'd want to risk going in with some kind of turnover. You got 13 seconds left, and how about that, Nick? They finally overcome the penalties and get up 4 scores.
One more score update before we hop into the half. Mater Dei just scores another touchdown. 3:51 to go in the half of that game. The Monarchs lead the Braves 37-0. That's probably enough watching them tonight. That'll do it. First half in the books as Isaac Costello makes the stop. Eagles won't call a timeout. Norte Vista led by 4 total touchdowns of their star quarterback. 2 on the ground, 2 through the air. Seth Bolander. It's 34-7. Norte Vista. Coach, thoughts of the first half?
Norte Vista still is hurting themselves a little bit with some penalties here. I'm sure they want to clean up, but what they did a good job of and what Coach Batdorf wanted to do is establish their identity or reestablish our identity, running the football and throwing play-action passes at the right time. I'm sure they missed a couple plays here, but I'm sure going into the 10th week that they've made the progress they wanted to. Now they want to get sure they get the starters out the first drive, get them involved, and get some other players in the game so that they're prepared when they go to the playoffs.
They certainly look prepared to close that first half. Got an opportunity to iron out some of their passing game. We'll give you more score updates. I'm trying to figure out the Ramona score. That's a big one out of this league, too, and all of Riverside. Until then, we're going to step aside for a few minutes. Make sure to return for that much more. We're at the half from Zach Erb Stadium. Norte Vista 34, La Sierra 7.
Hey there, Riverside. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Gabriella Madrigal. This week, we find out about the upcoming Day of the Dead events happening in downtown Riverside. We also check out what Cal Baptist University students are doing to bring some color to our parks. Plus, we get you ready for the holiday season with the award-winning Festival of Lights coming up next month. So hang out with me as I give you the details right here on Inside Riverside. Joining us now is Cosme Cordova, who is here to fill us in on an upcoming Riverside Day of the Dead event. Welcome, Cosme. Please tell us the details on this event.
Well, this event is going to be actually a 2-day event this year. We normally have the event for one day, the first Saturday of November.
Okay.
So it's from this point on, it's going to be the first weekend of November. And it's going to be our 21-year celebrating Day of the Dead. And it's amazing. I hope you guys can come out on Saturday. It's going to be 1 to 10. And then on Sunday, it's going to be 11 to 7. So hopefully, more people can come and partake in our events. We have 2 stages happening at the same time. We have a full-size wrestling ring. We have 2 streets just barricade for car altars. And then we have White Park, where we have all the altars. Right now, we're up to about 70 altars inside. We have over 80 art vendors. Wow. And then we also have about 30 food vendors. Wow. So, and then we have the Ferris wheels coming back and with some other games. So it's going to be a big, big party, you know.
Well, alongside the attendance, it sounds like the 2 days is absolutely necessary because there's so much to do.
Too much to do. This is going to be awesome. When we compare to the first year when we started in 2004, I started in a small block. It was just 1 altar, 1 food vendor, 1 band, and several artists. You know, it's just like a dream come true. But it's to honor somebody who passed in your life. You know, a beloved one, a friend, a family member, someone you knew, and just to keep their spirit alive. You know, you create an altar at home if you can't do one at the event. Even if you can't even create an altar, just take the time to really think about somebody in your life that meant something. Maybe think of a joke that they used to say, or the things they used to go eat, or music they used to listen to. You know, just kind of reminisce the times you had with your special friends or family.
I love that. That's so special, and thank you for reminding everyone.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you, whether we catch you on November 3rd or the 2nd. I'm so happy for you, and congratulations on the 21st year. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be awesome. Absolutely. Hope I see all you guys there.
Yeah. Keep up with the latest on Riverside TV with the Watch Riverside website. You can even add it to your mobile phone. Simply navigate to watchriverside.com on your favorite browser. Tap the share button, then select Add to Home Screen. And there you have it. Now you have quick access to Riverside TV while on the go.
What is up, sports fans? My name is Pep Fernandez, and let's get you caught up on the local sports scene here in the city of Riverside. And this week is the first week of the CIF Southern Section Girls Flag Football Playoffs. Let's take you out to JW North, 3rd in Chicago. The Huskies hosting Summit in Division 4 action. And remember, this is the first year that girls flag football is a CIF Southern Section championship sport. We pick up with the highlights in the first half. JW North on offense, quarterback Naomi Shannon finds Amelia Hamilton, and she nearly gets into the end zone, but it sets up the Huskies in great field position. This time it's Shannon to Sophia Gonzalez. Touchdown, JW North, and they take the lead 6-0 on the Skyhawks. Later in the first half, Shannon to Malaya Mayo. Big pickup here by Mayo, and the Huskies are on the move. Nice moves by Mayo. But JW North would not come away with any points on that drive, but it would not matter because Remy Martinez, patrolling the secondary on defense for JW North, comes up with a huge interception, and the Huskies get the football right back, and they would capitalize. Inside the final minute of the first half, Shannon goes back to Mayo, and this one is a touchdown for JW North. They would lead 13-0 at halftime, and they go on to win against Summit, 26-20, the final score. So JW North advances to the second round in Division 4, and they will take on Moreno Valley, who beat Ramona by a score of 26-19 in their Division 4 opening game. King High School, Hillcrest, and Norte Vista all winning their girls flag football playoff openers. Congratulations, ladies. Now we're talking tackle football, and the Ramona Rams are working on an undefeated perfect season, and they've been led all season long by their star quarterback, Cody Shiner.
So our goal right now is to finish the season 10-0, and once we get placed into our division, no matter the division, obviously the end goal is to win it all.
The last time Ramona went undefeated in the regular season, you guys have had great seasons at Ramona, but I can't remember the last time a Rams team went 10-0. Like, do you happen to know by chance?
I don't think there ever has been, because I remember my older brother, his, I think, senior year, they went 9-1, and that was like a record-breaking season going 9-1, and then they did it the next year with the class of 23. So, yeah, so I think if we go undefeated, it'd be the first in our school's history. I think we just need to stay focused and, stay to our brand of football, not trying to do too much. Everybody just doing their assignment, staying on task, just really working hard. And I think we could end this season with another ring.
Thank you, Cody, and best of luck to Ramona in the playoffs. And that'll do it for your Inside Riverside Sports Update. My name is Pep Fernandez.
We are just a month away from the 32nd Annual Festival of Lights at the Mission Inn Hotel and Spa in downtown Riverside. The festivities begin with the spectacular lighting ceremony on Saturday, November 23rd, illuminating the Mission Inn with thousands of twinkling lights. Bring the whole family and dive into the holiday spirit on Main Street, where you will find holiday-themed vendors, family-friendly entertainment, unique dining, shopping experiences, and of course, a chance to meet Santa Claus. For more details, visit riversidefestivaloflights.com. Recently, volunteers from California Baptist University joined forces with the local community to brighten Arlington Park. 10 art students and 25 volunteers painted a vibrant mural on the park's restroom walls, depicting key aspects of the neighborhood like an orange tree, the annual chili cook-off, and the Youth Innovation Center. The project offered students a chance to step outside the classroom and collaborate with residents. Local leaders praised the effort, calling it a celebration of community spirit and creativity that brought new life and pride to the park. Well, that's it for the show, but stay to the end as we list several activities in the upcoming week. Or you can find out more by visiting riversideca.gov/calendar. I'm your host, Gabriella Madrigal, and thank you for watching Inside Riverside.
We are a community with shared values. We know our history and embrace our stories. We believe in respect. We believe in equity. We believe in justice and freedom. We are known for the way we celebrate, for how we create, and the ways we relax. We are known for our flavor and our vibe. We have built our reputation with a commitment to leadership in the areas of agriculture, engineering, creativity, economic development, and environmental responsibility. We are known for our incredible architecture, and the murals that grace our city walls. We value education. We value service. We value the self-made. We value each other. We love art. We love innovation. We love Riverside.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month. Please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431. And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
Welcome back. This is the CIF Southern section on Riverside TV. Notre Vista leads La Sierra 34-7. So we saw some brilliant play out of both quarterbacks, especially the Braves' Seth Bolander. His second year as a full-time starter. We had mentioned some of the negatives, but I would be shocked if you don't see a little more of him throwing the ball and testing out that defense in the second half. They'll get a chance to receive to start the third quarter.
You know, in a game like this, usually if Coach Badorf will go, if they score this half and he gets up, the starters might not be in more than 1 or 2 series. So especially if the clock starts. So if they get a 30-point lead, then you could have a running clock. So it depends on if La Sierra is able to put an answer on the board to how much Bolander might stay in the game and play the rest of the game.
That kickoff sails through the end zone for a touchback. As you enjoy, let me go ahead and get some scores real quick so the fans are caught up to speed on what's going on across the league. We were talking, me and John, right at the half about the major shifting that could be going on in the CIF division race. As our own Ghazal Hassan, make sure to join his weekly CIF playoff projection updates with 95% team accuracy, 91% division accuracy. He is so good at what he does. He's got King and what was the other team? Murrieta Mesa in the same division, Division 6. That could certainly change as the Rams of Murrieta Mesa lead King 14-6. That game near the end of the first half. Rancho Christian Hillcrest, it is 20-7 in favor of Rancho Christian. Patriot has crushed Jurupa Valley 42-0. That could change things in the playoff race as well. Notre Vista and Valley View both are in the same division going into today. Braves have crushed La Sierra in the first half. Valley View most likely will be the third and final Sun Belt team, and they play Hillcrest for the opportunity to officially clinch it next week. A lot of movement going on across in the city of Riverside. So we tell you Notre Vista's Division 9 as of today, according to Ghazal, King's Division 6. But those two could almost flip if things don't go right for one or the other in the final 2 weeks of the year.
And you just never know what CIF's going to do behind closed doors when they do their pairings.
Never know. Just ask Ken Battendorf.
Yep. So, again, the second play in a row, they run, and there goes a long break.
Off and running, ahead of steam for Lee White. This is a 75-yard touchdown for the true freshman.
And then we have a flag, of course, sitting at the 30-yard line that was thrown pretty early. So it looks like this one's going to come back. And it looked like White broke free, and he outran the entire defense. See if we can pick up probably a block on the inside. Oh, there was a cut block probably, I think they called.
Oh, man.
They called a hold. But
So you weren't looking at that replay. I didn't see anything.
I thought they might have called.
Can we look at that replay one more time?
I thought I might have seen a cut block, but they didn't call a cut.
Yeah,
you
I
can
didn't
cut
see
if you're inside
any.
between the tackles. If you don't, you can cut a player.
All right, here we go one more time, Coach. I didn't see anything. Yeah, the bottom of your screen, is there a chance he just fell down?
I didn't see any jersey flying, any jerseys pulled away. It was called right at the line of scrimmage. So unfortunately,
the only chance is a cut block. For the fans at home, what is a cut block?
When you dive at someone's below the knee, but you're allowed to do that if you're playing and start inside where the tackles line up in the interior of the line. You're able to do that as long as one lineman doesn't hold you up and another adjacent lineman hits you at below the knees. And that wasn't the case, and it wasn't the call. So now you got to – I don't know if it's 2nd and 10 here or not. But, yes, because they had a big gain. So, no, it's more than 2nd and 10.
There's the motion man, number 17, Jack Stafford. Toss to Isaac Costello. And the bread and butter of this offense is their running game. Gain of 16 and a first down. Lee White tonight may be the race car. Isaac Costello is the semi-pickup truck.
And I think because of the gain on first down and the penalty, it ended up being 2nd and 10. And you get one carry, and you have a first down. And, again, look at the movement by Norte Vista's linemen. They are pushing people around and establishing their dominance early in the second half.
Isaac Costello stays in there at running back out of the I formation with Joshua Quintana as the fullback. In fact, Quintana with a flag down, he was off and ready to score too.
Not sure if so you're going to have a 5-yard penalty. And Norte Vista's, they're going to run the clock here. The ball is placed at the 41-yard line.
You can credit the officials for not letting anything go. We saw the 1-second motion rule. We've seen some other rules thrown into effect, horse collar and whatnot.
Offside, so now you got first and 5.
Another run out of the fullback in Quintana, who's spun down on a pickup of 10.
Impressive that you can run that ball on a quick snap on the interior of the line, and the running back's a little shorter, harder to see behind those big linemen, and the push they got was tremendous. If you watch the linemen, watch the push here, and watch them push that line of scrimmage, and when they get beyond 5 yards, it's all running back. So they've got another first down. They move the chains. Now the ball's at the 49-yard line.
Lee White wrestled down at the 49-yard line, a gain of 2. Emmanuel Quintero with the tackle. I'm not allowed to give a World Series update. It's against my rules. So for fans who want to know what happened, just look anywhere. Game has gone final. All right, 34-7, Norte Vista. I mean, I'm in big trouble here.
Okay, great play by Quintero.
Emmanuel Quintero.
Got to be careful these days if you pick a player up and drive him into the ground.
Especially with the head down like that.
But he just picked him off the ground and put him back down. So now you have 2 receivers out wide, little variance.
How about one of those guys? He's going to head inside, number 48, mystery man, offensive lineman. Lee White spins and picks up about 5.
White is durable. He's quick off the ball. He can take punishment. He's gotten I wouldn't doubt that this is near the top of the most carries he has had all year.
Lee White had 51 carries through 8 games. He's got about 20 tonight.
Yeah. Both linemen pulling. The quarterback leading up, which you won't see. We mentioned that feature of their offense that's different from all others. And now we have 2nd down and short. Or third down, 3.
Isaac Costello, the muscle hamster, I would say, in there at running back. 6 foot, 220 pounds. Muffed the ball. It's still on the ground. The Eagles are jumping around. Did they recover the football? And they do. A Isaac Costello fumble. It's the first fumble by a Braves running back all year. Andrew Bruner-Riles, who's quietly had a good game, picks up the loose ball.
In La Sierra, they put 9 men up close to the line of scrimmage, and this time the strategy paid off. They were able to strip the ball loose. Good way to start for their defense. They take over on the 41-yard line. Let's see what their strategy is, what changes they've made at halftime to try to take advantage of the Braves' defense.
Right, and my apologies. First guy not named Dreddy Lane to lose a fumble this year. So second guy to do so, and it's in a big spot. They'll go ground on the draw. John Mathis, 5'8", 130-pounder, in there for the typical starter, T.J. Avalana, gains a couple. You know, we never quite know exactly what coaches are doing throughout the course of a week. So, you know, both coaches decided to lean on their backups tonight. And while Lee White has been fabulous, the Eagles' John Mathis is still trying to get something going.
So 2nd and long, 2nd and 7. They're going with they go with a tight end this time, which is different.
On a 2nd down and 7, Roy looks right all the way, steps up and drops it off to Mathis at the 50. And he's dragged down by Tirade near the first down, and it looks like they'll give it to him. So here is the backup runner. Your longtime coach, of course. What usually goes into, you know, pulling a starter that you've played with all year?
A lot of reasons. It could be disciplinary. Could be something in the classroom. Could have been missed practice. Could have been there's a small injury. But there you see Roy doing a good job dumping the ball off as an outlet. He wasn't the primary receiver, and now you're moving the chain. So they're off to a good start here in the second half.
Notre Vista began the third quarter, capped by Seth Bolander rushing touchdown run. T.J. Avalana gains a couple as they lead the game 34-7 in the middle of the third quarter. Coach, also, I'd be remiss not to ask, how often during your days coaching would you have a player be disqualified due to academics?
I think that's a coach's responsibility, what emphasis you put on. So I was with, and I know friends and other coaches that have mandatory study halls. You hold them before school, after school, at lunch. You target kids. You keep track of grades. You try to be proactive and help them before they get into grade trouble. So I always took pride in the fact that we didn't want to lose anybody. We wanted to make sure that we had everybody eligible all year.
It is relatively rare, and certainly many coaches go even as far as T.J. Avalana here with a strong run to the 25. A lot of coaches go so far as to have, you can see the Eagles have, you know, their team name on the back of their jersey. Some coaches will say you don't get that unless you have a certain GPA.
I always liked that. I thought that was, I did that one year. I did that my first year at North, and it was tied to GPA. And then, you know, the way things are these days, you're never going to make everybody happy. But I think anything you can do to promote academics, because they are it is education-based athletics, and you want to do everything you can to keep kids eligible and have them understand that a very, very small percentage of them is going to go on to play football in college.
And even then, you know, news alert, you're going to have to study and you're going to have to go to class in college too. Avalana with an 8-yard gain.
You know, and hats off to the entire staff of a school who supports. For every kid on the field, there are a score of counselors and teachers that stay extra hours, that have study halls, and that give kids retakes and do extra tutoring. And so for every kid who's eligible that's making it, there's just a group of people, academic-minded people that help kids that are in it for the right reasons.
In terms of guys in it for, you know, academics and guys that also work hard on the field and in the weight room, I would guess, Roy gains a couple here, I would guess those are almost directly correlated.
Yeah, because work ethic is tied together. They don't exist in a vacuum. Football never exists in a vacuum. It is part of a school community. Football is, you want to teach kids that good habits are a life skill that go into everything you do. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So school is important. You create a culture where academics is prioritized, it's celebrated, the weight room is prioritized, it's celebrated, and then you have accountability, and then everybody starts pushing everybody else. Nice drive to start the half.
Yeah, I'd say the Eagles are pushing around Novi on this drive with a heavy dose of TJ Alvalan on the run. A 6-yard burst wrapped up by Costello at the 17.
Nick, you used a great verb there, push, because on that play, if you see the replay, the whole left side of the La Sierra line was pushed La Sierra's right side. And if you watch here at the bottom, you're going to see a push.
Yeah,
and the offensive line comes off and just pushes them. Watch this block here, this lead block, and watch them drive the defenders back.
This is my concern for Novi in the playoffs. Their defensive front is small and can get pushed around like that.
They're gonna have to work hard. They're going to continue to work on the alignment, shedding blockers, pursuing to the ball, getting more people to the ball, and then you have the chains being moved, and now it's 2nd and 4. They're ahead of the chains right now.
Off the Mays motion, Roy looks his way. About his 4th read is back there to Eric Mays, who dances to the 10 and is wrapped up right there.
Impressive play by Roy. He looked for 2 different receivers, and then he checked down to a 3rd option. So that was an impressive. You heard this word progression, and it means basically they have an order of receivers they're supposed to look at. There's 1, there's 2. He looks back and throws the ball, and that's just patience and great pass protection. So impressive drive to start on the ground and in the air for La Sierra here to start the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, what's unfortunate about Eddie Roy is he may not get the recognition throughout his career as a top-tier quarterback. He really is a fabulous football player, unfortunately thrust into a situation where, this team is 5-23 with him over the last 3 seasons at La Sierra. A lot of points scored from Roy, but much more points given up by the defense this year over the head of number 10, Amoro McCoy.
Good job splitting the 2 defenders and coming really close there. Had to thread the needle there, and it was just a little bit high.
That was actually the same play, just reversed the formation. It appeared to me, maybe not, of the McCoy touchdown in the 1st quarter.
And you brought up a good point about the quarterback being an athletic and a great football player. And it just goes to show you that football is truly, truly a team game.
Yep.
And you're only as good as your team goes. It takes teamwork, and it's an overused phrase. But one person does not win football games. You've got to have a complete football team to win.
They'll keep it on the ground with the tailback, and TJ Alvalano, the ball carrier, gains a couple.
Nice tackle.
Fabian Ruvalcaba joins Adrian Soldana on the stop.
So another good run here. They're going to, a little bit short, but they're going to put him at 3rd and 10. When you're thinking about passes here, your playbook shrinks a little bit because you don't have as much room for route runners to get open. You have that back line as a defender. So, again, they don't get a gain here. You come up now on 3rd down.
No, they did give him about a yard.
They gave him a yard.
Yeah.
So, and great open field tackle, by the way. So you've got a bunch formation, 3 receivers to the top here as it's 3rd and 8.
Here we go, a fabulous drive that's used up 5 minutes, and this pass is reeled in by McCoy. A more accurate throw, and he may have had a chance, but Nota Vista covered that one very well. Julius House, number 5, with the stop.
Good job, House. Great job getting up to the ball, thrown to the perimeter. Now it's a 4th and 8.
I'd go for it.
And I don't think we see a kicker coming in or any different personnel. Actually, I take that back.
House was covering 2 receivers on the same play.
We do see some personnel change coming on. It does look like they're going to try to kick a field goal here.
Wow. That may be Andres Vargas. Yes, it is. La Sierra scored on their first drive of the game to take a 7-6 lead, and this is their it's their first attempt of points since, and Vargas missed it.
So they have a nice drive. You're talking about almost a 50-yard drive in which they had a good mix of run and pass. You saw some effective run blocking by La Sierra's offensive line. You saw Roy check down and throw the ball to the outside, and then they got down inside the 20-yard line, and they stalled at the 10-yard line. So they chose to go for a field goal. They didn't make it. Now, if you're Coach Baddorf and Norte Vista, last time they just put the ball on the ground, which is highly uncharacteristic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Isaac Costello.
So their big thing is they want to go 83 yards, and they want to pound the ball and tell them to hang on to the football and take as much of the clock as they can. And that's the whole first quarter. They had one possession in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. They have their run-heavy set in with Butler to the top.
They'll go to the ground with Isaac Costello, who rumbles to the 32. In fact, he's getting carried to the 34-yard line for first down.
And you got to love Costello just throwing a forearm and driving off the defensive back goes flying.
Yeah,
there was used to
Mike
be
Allstott reminiscent.
I was going to say Chuck Muncie, an old running back for the Chargers and the Saints that played at Cal.
Speaking to the choir, man.
And
Love
he
that.
would just get unsportsmanlike penalties for running over defensive backs.
Part of the Air Coryell. He was kind of the quiet man on the team with that passing attack.
So 2 plays.
I'm
we're
a
up
young
to the
guy,
40.
but you can brush up a little football knowledge on me, Coach.
Tell
we
you
have
what,
a whole
Chuck
fourth quarter
Muncie,
to do it.
Chuck Muncie was a bruiser, just a bruiser.
Speaking of bruisers, King, number 8 for them, scores a touchdown to stay in the game. 34-7 our score here in the third on the other Riverside TV game. Mira de Mesa up by 16. Quick score updates, and then we'll have more here. Hemet leads Arlington 38-7. That one for the Lions getting out of hand. Citrus Hill and Heritage are scored 12-6 in the fourth in favor of Heritage. Trojans hanging in, down 20-7 at Rancho Christian. As mentioned, Mira de Mesa up big over King, 28-12. We have this game here at the end of the third quarter, 34-7. We still have no update out of the Rubidoux-Ramona game. That is of big significance. Patriot in front of Jurupa Valley, 42-0 in the third.
That quarter was gone. Blink of an eye, and it's gone.
Even without a running clock.
And Norte Vista doesn't score. They get, one possession, put the ball on the ground. La Sierra takes a lot of the clock, drives the ball 50 yards, and they don't score.
And I'm telling you, that's very concerning to me because the defensive line was a big problem throughout the drive. You play, a playoff game in which the offense only gets about one possession a quarter. It's going to be hard to win.
So I'm sure they're going to work right here on establishing a long drive and getting back to Norte Vista football.
And they do with Henderson, who dances into the secondary, slips a tackle, chased at the 40, and steps out of bounds on a 23-yard run.
Just in 3 short plays, they have moved the ball down to the 35-yard line, and here is a underneath handoff. They fake the ball one way, and if you watch a few pulling linemen, they're going to come toward the screen. Henderson there is at the top, and watch the 2 linemen lead him, and there's an underneath handoff, and a great job by the offensive line to break Henderson to the outside, and gets by Mays on a missed tackle, keeps his feet moving, and gets down to the 35-yard line where you have first down at the start of the fourth quarter.
Jaden Henderson averaging 8 yards a carry this season. He is a terrific scat back. It almost makes you wonder why they haven't featured him more in this offense. There's the toss for a couple to the fullback. Number 5, Julius House.
Tell you, Mays is a player. Mays is in there, sticking his nose in there on defense. He's a receiver on offense. What a ball player he is. Not afraid to get his nose stuck in there, and I think he comes in here at the end. He's playing in the secondary, and he gets up in there and just right here, and now that brings up a second and long. I think sometimes with Jaden, the concern is about how much of a pounding he could take in this offense. He's a little light,
Yeah.
If he carried the ball 20, 25 times a game, would his body hold up? And
5'9", 155.
And so I think they're using him to the best of his ability and his skill set.
Lee White has proved to be more of a bell cow for him this season. In fact, he'll get the call with a block from his quarterback, dances to the 20, and like Chuck Muncie, he's the one falling forward for the first down. Eric Mays, the unfortunate defender that had to tackle.
And Eric Mays again on the tackle. White has good vision. He explodes once he takes his sight here. You'll see him break through the line on the right side here on the power toss. And then he finds his hole and he accelerates. Quick burst of speed.
Like a Terrell Davis.
And then he puts his shoulder down and Eric makes a good play. So here you go on another first down.
White at the 10, and Lee White is in for the touchdown, standing up to put the Braves on the board.
And that looked like the same play. They just what's called double up. You run a play. There's a philosophy that you run a play until they could stop it, and it looked almost identical with Norte Vista's line creating a huge hole on the right side of the line. You'll see them block down. You see two linemen pull on the power pitch. The short motion. And look at Bolander get in there and block.
Mm-hmm.
Nice burst of speed.
Great job. Still the starters in there up front for the Novi line. They may not have a very deep line to go all reserves with the injuries they've faced, but nonetheless, great job up front, and Saldana's kick is good, 41-7. Norte Vista, 10-15 left in the game. Our other Riverside TV game, King failed an onside kick. Murrieta Mesa on a short field has run the ball to the 9-yard line with 3 minutes left. Rams score anything on this drive, and it is over.
So when you have a 30-point lead, and it's the fourth quarter, the clock is supposed to go to a running clock, so we're waiting for the referees to give a signal up here to the box.
I wonder if they won't run it between PAT to kickoff. Would they still do that?
You know, when I was at North, we had a JV game, and I was running the clock, and they're supposed to be untimed downs. Extra points are the only time they're supposed to stop the clock because they're untimed downs. You don't ever run a clock on an extra point. So once this starts, if they've made that adjustment.
Actually, there we go. Clock is running.
There we go. So now you have a running clock. The clock doesn't stop for anything but an extra point. If ball goes out of bounds, it's incomplete, the clock runs. So the game is going to go quickly here. You have 9:51 left, and that's almost in real time about how long it's going to be left in the game.
Yeah. So it does give us a little under 10 minutes to mention kind of where we're at this year for Riverside High School football. Saldana drives the ball into the end zone for a touchback. So King is about to lose at Murrieta Mesa unless there's a complete disaster from the Rams with 2:06 to go. We don't know the Ramona score, but Hillcrest is poised to lose at Rancho Christian. Pauley lost yesterday. I think this is the year where the potential best team in Riverside is a little open. There's a little more parity than usual.
I think, and you'll see it'll determine, what King does, what draw they get in the playoffs, if they're in Division 6 or maybe go down to 7, depending on what happens next week. And also what Ramona does, they're in Division 7. They're playing a very, Divista del Lago is also set in Division 7, according to Gazal.
They're playing Rubidoux tonight, but we haven't been able to get a score on Twitter, on anywhere.
So, another thing, on that kickoff, the clock kept running. There's no stoppage.
Yep, so we're down to a few minutes here.
For change of possession. So now you're down to 8:37, incomplete. The clock still runs.
Impressions tonight on, Norte Vista and their performance and, kind of their status going into the playoffs?
I think they got in some run-heavy sets, and they ran the ball, and they put things together. I think Coach Baddorf would be the first to tell you they made too many unforced errors and mental mistakes on their shifts. They had a couple things they had to iron out. They had an offside penalty. I think they improved, but I think he would like to see them play hard for the remainder of the game and not let up.
They'll go ground on a 2nd and 10 and pick up a couple. John Mathis on the call.
And you have some other players now. You want to get some players in the game so they can play and be prepared for the playoff. And this is where you get kids in who have worked hard, and it gives them a chance to improve and develop. As you see, a nice block escape right there, and nice pursuit and a great tackle.
Yeah, number 43, we don't have a number. He may be a freshman that's playing tonight, or a sophomore, and that's just great opportunities that you don't get in a close football game. There's benefits to no matter what the situation is, and a huge benefit here to play some of the youngsters. McCoy, the intended target. 3rd down pass from Roy is incomplete. Number 80, you can see brushing off the dirt of his jersey. It's incomplete with Butler on the coverage.
Butler was over the top, and what you don't see now in this series is even though they're down 41-7, you could choose to work on your tempo here, and they just chose to let the clock run 3 plays. They're going to punt. Everybody's taking their time. As you see Butler over the top here.
Oh, man.
And that ball was just thrown a little bit high, but Butler was there.
I mean, there's 3 Braves in the area. Very tough to fit that in anywhere. Good throw from Eddie Roy nonetheless.
So we have some personnel, a little bit of mix-up, a little bit of confusion on the punt team as the clock continues to run. We're down to 6:44. They have 11th man. They need to get in. You're looking for possibly a delay of game call here pretty quick. They're still short.
If there is any chance in the world that Notre Vista yet again has an opportunity to play Ramona in the postseason, to me, it's hard to say who would win that football game. And to me, that's what it's going to come down to in the River Valley League.
Be a great football game. It's hard to beat somebody twice when you have good football teams. But you always love to see 2 good programs playing, and you playing for pride. I'm sure Coach Batdorf feels that wasn't representative effort of his team. And so, first of all, you got to finish the year, and then you have no control over where they place you. You just control the controllables, and whoever they line you up in front of, you play them. You're just hoping not to get a Division 4. 14.
I think they're safe this year, not just because of the 1 loss, but even their wins have not been very impressive. We were there for their, narrow win against Granite Hills. Granted, a good football team. Went on Great Oak 34-28. They beat Fontana by 1 possession, and they beat Patriot by 1 possession. No spectacular wins like last year. Punt return to about the 45-yard line. Then a little bit of a WrestleMania tackle there at the end from TJ Alvalana.
And so now you're down to 5:51. There's a change of possession. Doesn't seem to be too much sense of urgency. Clock will continue to run. You see the punt here. He's going to pick it up on the bounce. A little risky decision here. Hangs onto the ball. Good ball security. Ball's down to the 46-yard line. Clock running, he holds on, and Norte Vista will probably take as much time on the clock as they can, get some players in, run their base offense here.
And the quarterback in is Armando Morales.
And we have
number 10.
Another running back in.
Julius House. We saw have a couple big tackles earlier. House with just his 3rd run of the season, and he spins to the 40. Terrific run on 1st down.
Physical, big physical back, nice size. Runs with the shoulders forward. Taking their time again. They ran 2 more players in. Little bit of different personnel. Number 17 comes out as you see the play there with the power pitch. Quarterback barely got out of the way, and here we go, 2nd down.
Second and short. They go run with number 19, Damian Blanche, who motors to the 27-yard line. The tackle from Emmanuel Mayorga.
Nice run by Damian on the power pitch play.
Mayorga.
Yep, nice run. Have the plays already in. They get huddled up. They're taking their time as we get down to 4:20. Ball's down at the 26-yard line. They get up to the ball fairly quickly. They're in their base run set. With a wing, double wings.
A final score out of other Riverside TV game. Arita Mesa has defeated King High School 28-13. Norte Vista crushing La Sierra today. The run down to the 16-yard line from DeMarcus Richardson, another freshman on the run.
And they have another hold. The clock will continue to run down to 3:40. Looked like a very nice cutback. There was a nice lane. You'll see the run here. And he will cut back. Let's see if we can see the hold at the top of the screen. Looks like number 19 just tackled. There it is. That was pretty obvious. But the running back did a really good job cutting back and getting up the field. All Fornado will be pulled back. The ball is going all the way back to about the 45-yard line. Nope, sorry, it's at the my mistake. It's at the 37-yard line. You're down to 3:15. Same personnel in the game.
Any chance we could look at those scores before we wrap things up too, Coach?
You got it.
Appreciate it. Arlington is getting crushed right now by Hemet, 41-7 in the fourth quarter. Henderson on the completion. Flag is down yet again with under 3 minutes to go as they sort this out. One final look at scores as we near the sign-off tonight. Heritage leads Citrus Hill 12-6. Hillcrest has hung in. You know, credit to the Trojans against a good football team. A one-loss Rancho Christian, 20-14. Rancho Christian leads. As mentioned, Mérida Mesa has defeated King, 28-13, and Patriot is set to defeat Hooper Valley up 45-0. Actually, one more update. It should be noted, Rancho Verde in overtime leads Liberty 24-16.
Wow. So we just trading penalties back and forth. The ball just keeps moving back and forth. Time keeps running off. We're all the way down to 2 minutes left in the game. No 2-minute warning. Okay, so we've got some penalties. Ball's been moved back and forth.
Joshua Quintana, one of the backs. They'll fake it to him. Lee White sweeps to his right. A foot race to the 15. Wrapped up with a flag down to the 10. I wonder what this is all about.
Might be a face mask, and if so, then it'll be a matter of half the distance. If that's what happened, they may end up about the 5-yard line. They may get a playoff here with about a minute left.
Looks like it's on Novi.
I wonder what they called with a running back. I mean, what else could it be? Yeah, personal foul. It looks like he's trying to get clear to us. Face mask on the running back.
Right, interesting.
So I don't know if he'll take a knee now. You're going to be under a minute left, but you don't see this called too often.
He did initiate that face mask.
Look at this nice block right here. Look at him get around, and I guess he's trying to I don't know.
I got to say, not a horrible call, because he did grab the bottom of the face mask and turn his head around. But
as described,
just
that's
unfortunate.
a penalty. As described, so we just take a knee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably going to – they're not going to snap another ball. The game is
I mean,
is
if I were Coach
devolving.
Battendorf, though, I'd be a little frustrated about how this entire game has looked. Granted,
he's calling them over right now. I mean, the game's over. I mean, you have a lot of players in the game. You've had 6 penalties called on this drive. At least 6 penalties.
I mean,
so,
a couple dozen throughout the game today.
I don't understand why the clock's not running right now. It should be running.
There's Ken Battendorf talking. To be honest, I'm shocked he's not even more animated on the sideline. This is Norte Vista is not leaping into the postseason. They are with a whimper going into the playoffs, all things considered. And no disrespect to La Sierra, because they're a good football team too, but this is not the team that we saw earlier this year and last year.
You made a great point, Nick, is that with 43 seconds left, Coach called the timeout, probably to say, hey, let's get our stuff together here. Yeah. This is not the way we want to finish a game. Go back in there and execute. I know you can do it. It's your opportunity to get in there and get some reps. Let's do it right. Let's buckle down and run a few plays here and do what we do and just stop the lack of discipline. Mm-hmm. So unusual calling a penalty with 43 seconds left.
Absolutely.
So he's making his point, I'm sure.
Yeah. So they play Hooper Valley next week, who's getting leveled by Patriot. So most likely Norte Vista will go into the playoffs 9-1. You just wonder that beautiful record, even though it's runner-up in the River Valley most likely, what division they'll end up being before the game is over. And no huddle. Interesting.
So I think he's just trying to run a few plays in a row, get up and dive, and get up and run some plays. He's not trying to run the play up. I think he's more trying to get his players to execute and finish.
Joshua
and he certainly
Quintana.
does that. Certainly does that, and they move the pile.
We'll see if they can sneak in one final play here.
I think you're right. I think he's going to try to snap the ball once. He's just trying to get his team to finish strong.
Right. I love it.
Drive off the ball. He's not trying to rub it in. He's not trying to run up the score. He just wants them to finish strong.
And unfortunately, Quintana fumbled. The game is over either way. That is probably a fitting conclusion to this football game. I believe Quintana wound up recovering the ball nonetheless. So our final score is 41-7. Not the most crisp football game in the world, and you can even see some jawing afterwards.
Which you don't want to see. And Coach Batdorf forced one out there and says, get your rear ends off the field.
Yep.
Have some integrity. He runs a clean program. He's going to be hard on him on sportsmanship. Line up, shake your hands, be good sports. Let's move on to next week. Let's get better and get ready for the playoffs. And I'm sure he's going to straighten that out, and that's something that you're not going to see. That's uncharacteristic for Coach Batdorf, for any of his teams to have those kind of unforced errors, those penalties at the end of the game. And then you got Coach Moore, like he's saying a couple things to Coach Batdorf there. That'd be an interesting conversation to hear.
La Sierra gave it a good fight, led 7-6 in this game, but the Braves wind up knocking off the La Sierra Eagles by the final 41-7. The Braves will close the season potentially on Riverside TV. We'll give you an update on that next week, of course. They play Jurupa Valley, does Novi to close the year. La Sierra is at home against Rubidoux. Before we sign off, one more look at the scores. Is there anything new that we've seen? It doesn't appear so. It looks like all the scores are essentially the same. Rancho Christian up 20-7. Or 20-14 on Hillcrest. That game not final yet.
Yeah,
so
and I'm telling you, Rancho Christian and Hillcrest 20-14. That's a battle. Heritage is still down as far as we know. They're still down their quarterback, and Rancho Christian is a juggernaut. Been scoring 40 points a game. They're going in to play next week. It looks like they're in to play Hemet if they can hold on. Both being 4-0 in league, and Hemet will be 9-0. So that looks like your big game next week in the Sun Belt League.
Yeah, down year from Travis Carter and Hillcrest. They most likely will miss the playoffs. And looking at the parity around the league, it looks like we may only have 4 to 5 Riverside teams. We typically have 6, but it has been a tough year for some of the Riverside schools.
You know, and you can't control injuries, and that's a shame. It's part of football. You prepare, you do everything right, you work so hard in the off seasons, and sometimes there's just freak injuries, and it's a shame when you can't control those kinds of things.
Luckily, the Braves came out of here scot-free and improved to 8-1 this year, 3-1 in the River Valley League, and have clinched a playoff spot. For the rest of our outstanding, award-winning Riverside TV broadcast crew, I am Nick Rice. That was John Rice. This is the CIF on Riverside TV. We'll see you next week.